Hello, hello, hello. I am the Linux Mensch. Today, I'm going to install ST terminal in one of my computers, in one of my bare metal computers. And if you don't know what ST is, it stands for Simple Terminal. So let's get to it. So right now, this is my bare metal computer, my main production computer. And I have Xterm and the ST terminal installed. And most of the time I use the ST terminal in here. And this is it right here. Let's do a neo fetch. And that's it. Okay, you can see I'm in Arch Linux. I'm in the Spectrum window manager, or the Spectre window manager. And I'm running the ST terminal. Okay, so let's just close that. Now, I have another computer, a real bare metal computer, and it's running the Gnome desktop environment and has only Xterm installed as a terminal. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, that computer's in another room, and I don't have my microphone or camera hooked up to it. So I'm going to remote into that computer and install the ST terminal. I'm going to open up Ramina. I have a key binding for it, so I'm going to hit Mod key R to get into Ramina. And I already have everything set up to get into there. And now I've remoted into the computer that's in the other room. It's a real bare metal computer, and it's running Arch Linux with the Gnome desktop environment. And let's just go here. And if I click on here, my terminal, it's Xterm. Let's just do a neo fetch. Neo fetch. So you can see that this computer is running Arch Linux. It's an Optiplex 790. It's running the Gnome desktop environment, and it's running Xterm. And the reason why the RAM usage is so high is because on another workspace, I have Firefox opened. Okay. So let's clear the screen here. And let's go to the other workspace. So I have Firefox opened up, and it's opened up to the DWM website. Let's just make that a little larger. And this is the DWM website. And what I'm going to do is click on here where it says ST. So the ST terminal, it stands for Simple Terminal. And it was made to go along with the DWM window manager, or the dynamic window manager. But you don't need to be running DWM window manager to use the ST terminal. You can use the ST terminal in any desktop environment or window manager that you happen to be using. Now, so what I'm going to do is click on this, ST, and let's make that a little larger. Now, the ST terminal is not available in the official Arch Linux repository, but it is available in the AUR, the Arch user repository, but I'm not going to download it and install it from there. I'm going to download it and install it from source. And the reason why is that I tried installing it from the AUR, the Arch user repository, and when it was installed, it was working, but I wanted to put my own configuration file in there, and I couldn't figure out where the configuration file was. I couldn't find it, and I just found that it works better when it's installed from source. And I would say the same thing for the DWM window manager. It's not available in the Arch Linux official repository, but it is available in the AUR, the Arch user repository. But if you're going to install DWM, I also think it's better to install it from source. Now, today I'm not going to install DWM. I'm just going to install the ST terminal, the simple terminal, into the computer that's in the living room that I'm remoted into right now. So now I'm going to go back to the other workspace, and I put brand new instructions today. I had instructions in my GitLab repository on how to do this, but I updated my instructions today, and I just uploaded them to my GitLab repository. So I'm going to do a git pull. So I'm going to cd into my Mensch folder. I'm going to clear the screen, and I'm going to do a git pull. Now, it's probably going to do a large git pull, because I haven't updated my GitLab repository in this particular computer or done a git pull in this computer for a long time. So let's hit enter and see what happens. Wow, look at that. It only took a second anyways, right? So now it's up to date. So let's clear the screen and let's cd into my Arch folder. Well, let's just do an ls. ls, and let's cd into the Arch folder. Let's do an ls. Let's clear the screen. Let's do an ls. And here it is here. I was looking for it. Sorry. And here is my new folder. It's called st. It's an st directory or folder. So let's cd into it. cd st. And let's clear the screen. Let's ls it. And I have a file there called instructions text. Now I didn't make a script. So you have to do it all manually. But the instructions are there and they work. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to less into instructions. And I'm going to open up another terminal. And what I'm going to do is copy that. Oh, sorry. I'm jumping ahead of myself. And actually, I missed a few things in my instructions. So let's open up this other terminal. Let's make that full screen. So what I want to do is, this is optional. You don't have to do this, but I like to do this. So when I'm installing something from the AUR, the Arch User Repository, I like to make a folder in my home directory called AUR, and I put all my AUR packages in there. When I'm building something from source, I also like to make a folder in my home directory called builds, and whatever I'm building from source, I keep it in there just to be more organized. And of course, this is all optional. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in make dir builds. Okay, now I'm going to cd into it, and now I'm in my new directory called builds. Now I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to copy this command. And I'm going to go to here, and I'm going to paste it in. Okay, so we're downloading the ST program, or the simple terminal program, from source. Now, and can I just minimize that? That's better. It's so much easier working in a tiling window manager, but or a dynamic window manager, but this particular computer is running the Gnome desktop environment. And one thing that's good about the Gnome desktop environment is that it has everything built into it to make it really easy to remote into it because it's in the other room, right? Anyways, so now I downloaded that in the builds. So now I'm going to cd into that directory. Let's just move that up there. So let's cd. Let's just ls it. So you can see now we have a directory in there called st. Let's cd into st, and let's clear the screen. Now I'm going to type in this command, sudo make clean install. Let's insert, put the password in, and it's building it or installing it. Okay. Now let's clear the screen. And now we have to install a patch. So the simple terminal is very light. It's quick and light, but it doesn't have any scroll back. So, if you do, let's say you call down your history and you have a long list of things, you can't scroll up unless you install a patch. So this is the patch here. What I'm going to do is, let's go back to my other workspace. And so we're at the ST. Let's just do ST again. And then we're going to click on patches. And then I'm going to scroll down. I went down too far. It is scroll back. So I'm going to click on scroll back. So here it is here, scroll back. So I'm going to click it on. So they have different ones here, and I'm going to scan down a bit. And this is the one that I used. Scroll back 0.9.2. So I'm going to right click the link. And I'm going to save the link as, and I'm going to save it in my downloads. So now I'm going to close my terminal. I don't need it anymore. Sorry. Now I'm going to close my web browser. I don't need it anymore. I'm going to go back to the other workspace. So now I'm going to copy this line. I'm going to do a dry run. It's a test to make sure that the patch is going to work before you install it. Okay, so I'm going to copy that line into my other terminal, and I'm going to insert it in. Now you have to be in your ST folder, right? So I'm in builds ST. I'm going to insert it in, hit enter, and everything worked. Now this is just a test. It's not, the patch is not installed yet, but if it says it succeeded and there's no error message, then you're good to go. So now I'm going to install the patch. So now I'm going to copy this next line over to here, and I'm going to insert it in and hit enter. And now the patch is installed, the Scrollback patch. And now I'm going to clear that screen. And after installing patch, I'm going to change the font in the default configuration file because the font is really small. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to LL it, and I'm going to go into this file here, configuration.def.h. Okay, let's clear the screen. And that's the command, okay? So now I'm going to get into there. And what I'm going to do is line 8, I'm going to delete it. Now I'm going to copy this line here over to there. Let's just make that full screen. And I'm going to leave a space. I'm going to insert. There you go. So that's the line that we want because it's nice font. Because the other font by default is really, really tiny. You can barely see it. Okay. So now I'm going to save the file. And I'm going to clear the screen, and I'm going to go back to my instructions. Then I'm going to copy this line. Let's go back here and insert it in. I'm going to put my password in, and that's done. And let's just minimize this. Oh, let's go back. Okay. So now I have one more step to do, and that's it. I'm going to copy this line, and I'm going to go back, and I'm going to insert. And that's the line there, sudo make clean install. And if I did everything right, it should be working with my nice font and with Scrollback. We'll find out. So let's close the terminal, and let's close this. Okay, so in this particular computer, in the Gnome desktop environment, I have a key binding that opens up Xterm. So if I do mod key enter, Xterm opens up, and you can see here it's Xterm. And even if we make it full screen and do a neo fetch, you can see, like I showed you at the beginning of the video, I'm running Xterm. Now I'm going to close that. I'm going to right click and go into settings. I'm going to go to keyboard, and I'm going to go into view custom shortcuts. I'm going to click that on, and I'm going to click on, I'm going to scan down here to custom shortcuts. I'm going to click that on, and see this Xterm one here. I'm going to click it on, and I'm going to change it to ST. And down here, I'm going to take my caps off and type in ST, and I'm going to hit, and then I'm going to click on this X to close it, and I'm going to close that, and I'm going to close this, and now I am going to hold my mod key down and hit enter, and now we see the ST terminal is opened up, and I'm going to make it full screen. Let's just do a neo fetch, and we can see I am in the ST terminal. Now I'm going to clear the screen, and I'm going to do history 1. So let's see if the scroll back works. So I'm going to hold down the shift button and go page up. Okay. So what it's going to do is you're not going to miss anything. Actually, this is more accurate than scrolling. You're not going to miss anything because it's going to go up page by page by page. And then if you want to go down, it's going to be shift page down. And then you're going to go down and down and down, right? So we're going up by page. Okay. Or we can go down by page. Now let's clear the screen. So by default, the ST terminal doesn't have any scroll back, but we added that patch to it. And actually, I like that better than using the mouse wheel because it's more accurate. You don't go so fast that you miss something. Now, if this font, now also too, by default, the font is really tiny. So if this font is too big or too small for you, you could hold the shift key down and the control button. So you hold the shift key and the control button at the same time, and you hit page up, and look at this, it gets larger. Or you hold the shift key and the control button at the same time and hit page down, and it goes smaller, okay? Now, if you want to permanently change the size of the font, because I have it at font, I have monospace, my font is monospace bold 15. If you want to permanently change the size of the font, you could do this. CD into builds, CD into ST, LS, LL, and we're going to do, we're going to remove, well, let's just do this one. We're going to vim into config.def.h. Let's just clear the screen. Okay, so we're vimming it into the configuration configuration.def.h. Okay, oh, that color is terrible. Let's change the color. Let's do shift, color, scheme, evening. Oh, that's better. Okay. So what you're going to do is, first of all, you can change the type of font you want. You just have to know the correct spelling. If you don't like monospace, because I have it here as monospace bold. So you can change the font, or you could just change the number. I have it at number 15. Let's change it to 19. Okay, now I'm going to save the file. Now I'm going to LL. And now I'm going to remove by force this configuration.h. Okay, not the def one, but the .h one. I'm going to do config.h. Now I'm going to do sudo copy config.def.h. And I did that wrong. I shouldn't be typing out copy. It should be cp. Okay. I'm going to do sudo cp config.def.h to config.h. Let's hit enter. Put my password in. I think I did that wrong. Oh, I did it right. Okay, good. Let's just clear the screen. So now I'm going to do sudo make clean install. And actually, I shouldn't be doing it in here. I should be doing it in Xterm. You shouldn't be in here while you're doing this. Well, let's get out of there. And let's just open up Xterm. Sorry about that. Let's cd into make, cd into builds, st. So you did most of it already. So we just got to do sudo make clean install. The other part you can do in st, but this part you shouldn't be in it when you're doing it. Oh, I got to put my password in. And hopefully it works. So now the font's going to be larger. I changed it from 15 to 19. Let's see. Let's close Xterm. Let's do mod enter. And now look how large it is. Okay, now it's larger. How about that, eh? Now let's see if my scrollback is still working. And shift, page up. There we go. Clear the screen. And like I said, temporarily, if you want to change the font, you could do shift control, page down, or shift control, page up. Now, the thing is that we didn't use Pacman to install this. So what if you want to uninstall it? What are you going to do? How are we going to uninstall it? Well, let's not stay in ST. Let's go back into Xterm. Let's go into Xterm. And let's cd into builds. cd into, oops, builds st. Okay. Now we're going to do sudo make uninstall. And I'm going to put my password in. And now it's uninstalled. Now let's close that. And so what happens now, because I have the command programmed in Gnome, I programmed my Gnome, you saw we went into the keyboard functions, into the settings, and I programmed it with the mod key enter opens ST or simple terminal. The mod key enter, now it doesn't open because it's no longer installed. Now let's go back to Xterm, because if you're going to uninstall it, you probably should remove everything too. So now we're back in Xterm, and you should do this. CD into builds, and ls it, and let's do remove capital R, remove RF ST. Now let's ls it, and now we've removed it totally from the computer. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reinstall it without the patch and without my font configuration, because I want you to see what the default looks like. And actually, I should have done this at the beginning of the video. I'm going backwards. Okay. So let's do history. Let's just do a 1. So I'm going to do 3555. This git clone, right? So I'm going to do 3555. Let's hit enter. So now I'm re-downloading it, because remember I deleted the folder, right? So now I'm just going to scroll up a bit. Oh, sorry, I don't need to do that. So let's clear the screen. Let's CD into ST now. So now we have our folder, and I'm going to type in sudo make clean install, and I'm going to put my password in. And now I'm going to close this. So that's how easy it is to install. You don't have to put the patch in or change the font. Then I'm going to close this, and I already have changed my keyboard. It's still changed so that mod key enter should open it. Okay, so let's hit mod key enter, and there it is. It's open. So let's maximize it. Now look how small the font is. So let's do Shift Control page up so we can make the font larger, temporarily larger. Okay, now let's do history 1. Okay, now let's do shift up. See, now that the shift up doesn't take it up. There's no scroll back. So there's no scroll back, and we're on the default font. So let's close it. And let's make it full screen, and that's how small the font is. So I should have done this part, like I said. I should have done this part at the beginning of the video. What can I say? So now I'm going to close this. I'm going to disconnect from the other computer, and I'm going to close this. And now I'm at my main production computer, which is running Arch Linux with the Spectre window manager. And that's it. In this video, I showed you how to download and install the ST terminal, or the simple terminal, from source. And I showed you how to install a patch so that you have scrollback. I showed you how to change the font, to permanently change the font so it's nice and large and easy to read. I showed you how to uninstall it, because you can't use Pacman to uninstall it, because we installed it from source. So I showed you how to uninstall it, and I showed you how to install the default version of it, and I showed you what the default version looks like with really small font and no scrollback. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I am the Linux Mensch.